close this out. Let's see what's happening. Maybe there is an update somewhere. Yeah, still nothing. Oh yeah. Nope. I gotta be blue side, huh? Said or they're not banning the juggernaut. It's okay. Yara, Jared will be taking a bit here. Oh, okay. Zyra picked. Interesting.
Fortune doesn't favor fools.
hard scaling.
Warriors in Sacramento. Golden State off to the best start in history. 34-2 right now. Steph Curry, not skipping a beat. DeMarcus Cousins, two-pointer. Then Curry finds Harrison Barnes, draws the contact, gets the shot to go. Cousins picks up his third foul before halftime. Oh, he's mad. He's definitely frustrated. Fourth quarter, Kings down 118-105. Rajon Rondo finds Cousins trailing, and Cousins hits the three. 33 points, 10 rebounds for Cousins. Kings close the gap to 10. Kings down just 7 here. Then under a minute to play, Curry. How do you leave them open? Warriors, the fastest team to 35 wins in NBA history with a win over the Kings.
Hi guys, it's Sunshine21 and gonna be somehow playing as Miss Fortune again. Miss Fortune is very strong. This poster, the final with the final patch of final patch of 5.24. She's her power level is beyond anything at the early game. It's very punishing, but that doesn't mean that it still requires you to play a lot safe, uh, still safely because one, um, she does have she does have this squishiness in her, and it she requires a lot of gang attention, so to speak. I just woke up from bed. Yamishi by Dark Stories.
Rubbish there. So let's take a look into the box here. This is a brand new retail packaging, and there's the dock there. This one actually fits the styling of the Toshiba Z830 and a couple of other devices I have. There's the Toshiba Z830 over there, and as you can see, pretty much fits the styling. So if you haven't actually worked out what it is yet, it's a USB 3 docking station, and if you look at the back, it'll be clear what's going on. USB 3 goes in there, and what comes out is DVI and HDMI, via DisplayLink adapters. DisplayLink is the company that makes the chips that extends displays from over USB to external displays. Gigabit Ethernet LAN, 2 USB 2s, 2 USB 3s, USB 3 out. Here we've got front center.
I see. So that's what it is. It's a very useful thing.
Some parents will sacrifice just about anything, or should I say, anyone, to keep their children happy. This week we discuss the Italian serial killer Leonardo Cianciulli. Let's open the serial killer file. Leonardo's exact date of birth is subject to debate. However, it's believed she was born sometime in 1893 or 1894 in Italy. Since the day she was born, Leonardo was disregarded, lacking any love or affection from her parents. Emilia, Leonardo's mother, showed much
The Heat
distaste
began their
towards her
six-game
due to
West
the fact that she was conceived from rape. During this time, a young woman in Emilia's situation would have never felt safe reporting something as severe as rape to the authorities. Because of this, Emilia would have been forever rejected by the village community, publicly shamed, her honor sacrificed, and with no other options to turn to, Emilia was forced to marry her rapist, Mariano Cianciulli, in order to raise the child she didn't want with the man she didn't love. Living in a poverty-stricken town, Leonardo's life was miserable and unstable, to say the least. The emotional neglect that Leonardo experienced at the hands of her mother led to not one, but two separate suicide attempts as a child. Wanting to take life into her own hands,
So hopefully you guys can still see me. And okay.
Don't get caught.
They're playing
I've got a
a
good feeling about this.
somewhat like a two-threat team comp. Sarah is actually not very aggressive.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I don't know. Maybe she should have actually just chosen to have
Not a
controllers.
problem.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So
Step
stay
2.
around here. Okay, this is the side here. It's relatively dark in
Minions
this
have
side.
spawned.
The Lee Sin is not yet awakened. Oh god, the
Set
Lee Sin is
sail.
the one. Okay, that's fine. Uh,
You've got dangerous eyes. I like that. I know what I'm doing. Sure you can handle me, summoner? I've got a good feeling about this. Not a problem. Don't get cocky. You've got dangerous eyes.
nice.
Step two. Sure you can handle me, summoner?
An enemy has been slain.
I know what I'm doing.
Imagine if I get
Step two.
a bit too aggressive there. I don't want. If I play Leo, I don't really play that aggressive.
Sure you can handle me, summoner? Don't get cocky.
Sure.
I know what I'm doing.
Going against this lane, I think what they should try to do is
I've got a good feeling about this.
what they should try to do if you're against a sustain lane, like it's gonna basically they're just gonna farm a lot. If I were to face that, it's frustrating because you cannot play aggressively.
Set sail.
But the only thing that I can think of when lane like that,
Guns blazing. Don't
Gucci.
get
He's lagging. Or she wasn't. It's good, it's good, it's good. We can go back.
I always shoot
The
first.
damage output is real, but you won't get that damage output if you get first. You have to be the one getting the kills.
The fun begins. Sure you can handle me. Nothing but help.
So you don't have to first.
Not a problem.
Yeah. So sustain your health, girl.
Set sail.
You have to sustain your health.
I've got a good feeling about this. Bang.
I'm actually hitting the right spots. Like, let's go. Can I go back?
I know what I'm doing.
Oh shit!
You've got dangerous eyes. I like that.
That's sad though. It didn't have like the rise there. Could have been more interesting if they were five. But our dominance in the bottom lane is the presence of the. It's because of the presence of the lack of presence of the pressure on top lane, and of course the Lee Sin doesn't really need to go bottom lane. He can just simply farm
Sure
any
you
way
can
he
handle me?
likes, any way he loves it. That's the way he needs it. Any way he wants it. Oh,
Not a problem.
okay. Okay. Coming, helping, helping.
Set sail.
If they are gonna come there, let's find reset ward somewhere. No, okay. Place a word here.
You've got the team has destroyed a turret.
I think the rise is back. If the jungler is doing that, it should be back.
I always shoot first. I've got a good feeling.
Their vein is not in. Their vein is not coming out anymore.
Don't get
Their vein is
caught.
not playing it well enough. I think.
An enemy has been slain.
Or rather,
Rampage.
refresh. Refresh a while ago. That's not a kill. They should have just let me get away.
Ally has been slain. Unstoppable.
Stupid.
I know what I'm doing. Sure you can count on me. Set sail.
The vein is not there anymore. Miss. That's the second time he
Don't
missed.
get cocky.
Literally misses that. That's fine. The game is over. Seriously. Wow, Leona. Leona.
You've got dangerous
Nice.
eyes. I like that. No prey, no pay.
Dominating.
Step 2.
Don't do
Your
it like
team
buying
has
Infinity
destroyed
Edge
a
first.
turret.
Just get Essence River and then get an Infinity Edge just to proc the damage and the criticals. The damage output is gonna be real. Now the way you understand the left tap, you have to switch targets every
I've
time.
got a good feeling
So
about
that means that
this.
your micro is the micro pattern. If you're doing it differently, the micro pattern is going to be just hit
I
anywhere,
know what I'm doing.
switch targets.
Set sail.
Don't be under the tower. Okay, good. Because if you're under tower, I'm just gonna do my thing on you, and that's over. And it's gonna be over.
You've got
The Vayne
dangerous
will
eyes.
quit.
I like that.
Well, really.
Nothing but powder monkeys.
Good job. Good job there. The rice is right. So, I guess
Sure you can handle me, summoner?
I'm gonna let him kill me.
As a grown woman, Leonardo went on to marry Raffaele
Step
Pensardi
two.
in 1917, an older gentleman who worked as a registry office clerk in her town. This angered her parents, particularly her mother, as they had already planned and arranged who Leonardo was destined to marry. Leonardo had always been a superstitious woman and also believed in spells and magic. It was during this time that she had a strong belief that her own mother had placed a curse on the newlyweds, desiring nothing but negativity into their lives. Going against their wishes, Leonardo was no longer welcome to stay in the family home, leaving her no choice but to move to her husband's town in Lauria, Italy. The honeymoon didn't last long, as the law sought justice when Leonardo was charged with fraud and was imprisoned in 1927. Now feeling danger in her husband's hometown, the couple moved once again, this time to the region of Macedonia, as soon as Leonardo was released. Another move equated to a fresh start, and even with an optimistic attitude, things just didn't seem to quite work in Leonardo's favor. The feeling of being at peace at last was short-lived during this time in 1930. The couple had moved into a house when it unexpectedly was destroyed after a tragic 6.6 magnitude earthquake hit the entire region, killing over 1,400 people. Helpless, the two packed what little they could salvage and took to their final destination, the city of Perugia. Finally settled in, Leonardo was able to make a successful living owning her own little shop. Many in town knew her as a sweet lady, a kind neighbor, and a devoted mother. The one who felt the business first she believed in for so long was stripped away from their lives, or so it seemed. For Leonardo, pregnancy would prove to be not a blessing, but a devastating curse for her life. Grief had struck Leonardo. Pregnant 17 different times, she miscarried 3 times, and lost 10 additional children while they were young and vulnerable to many illnesses. With 4 remaining children to raise, Leonardo was incredibly protective of them, doing anything to keep them from harm's way. Out of the 4, Leonardo was extremely protective and loving towards her son, Giuseppe. He was considered to be her favorite child and adored him. Being a woman who fully believed in fortune telling, Leonardo visited a woman who stated she was to have many children but would lose every single one of them before she died. Fear was instilled into her mind as she thought of losing the few surviving children she had. This fear took a drastic shift towards reality when in 1939 Italian men were being drafted to prepare for World War II. And with Leonardo's luck, Giuseppe happened to be one out of the many young men who were chosen to leave his town and fight. As a tremendously loving mother, Leonardo knew very well what she was going to do to protect her son Giuseppe from dying. She would sacrifice another human to take his place in the afterlife. With the desire to uncover more in her life, Leonardo sought the help of another fortune teller. This time, the fortune teller who practiced palm reading stated, "In your right hand I see prison, in your left a criminal asylum." Regardless of her reading, Leonardo put her son before her foretold future and carried out a deviated plan in hopes to keep him alive. Working part-time as a fortune teller herself, Leonardo found her sacrifices in middle-aged women who were vulnerable and hopeless.
I know
Her
what
first
I'm
victim,
doing.
Faustina Setti, was unmarried and unhappy with her love life. Leonardo then told her victim of a suitable man she would marry in the town of Pola. Leonardo then instructed the woman not to tell a single person of her departure and to write out postcards to every friend and family member, letting them know that everything in her life was going very well. Ecstatic, the woman jumped into the news and packed for her anxious, long-awaited trip to meet her future husband. Unfortunately, Faustina would never live to see this day. Eternally grateful for the good news, Faustina made one last trip to Leonardo's house to say goodbye. Upon entering Leonardo's house for one last thank you and a goodbye, Leonardo offered Faustina a glass of wine. Faustina obliged and happily drank the glass given to her. What she didn't realize was that the good fortune teller that she had trusted all along had placed drugs inside of her drink, knocking Faustina unconscious in minutes. With time ticking, Leonardo took advantage of what was presented to her and immediately killed Faustina with an axe, dragged her body to a closet, and later chopped the body up into 9 individual pieces. Blood from the victim was then entirely drained into a basin in order to make disposal much faster and easier. Leonardo went on to state in her official memoirs, "I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and stirred the whole mixture until the pieces dissolved in a thick, dark mush that I poured into several buckets and emptied in a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the basin, I waited until it coagulated, dried it in the oven, ground it and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, milk, and eggs, as well as a bit of margarine. Kneading all the ingredients together, I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies who came to visit, though Giuseppe and I also ate them." Leonardo was able to receive a good amount's worth of Faustina's life savings for the services that she had provided her prior to her sudden death. One human sacrifice was good, however, it wasn't guaranteed in Leonardo's mind, so she believed she just had to keep going. The second woman to seek out Leonardo was Francesca Soavi, a woman who was in search for employment. Unable to find the job she desired in her town, Leonardo instructed her to travel to Piacenza, as she was more than certain that a teaching job was awaiting the woman there. Once again, Leonardo prohibited the woman from telling anyone about her whereabouts and insisted that the woman mail everyone letters in hopes that family and friends heard from her. Continuing the same pattern, Leonardo drugged and killed Francesca on September 5th, 1940. Being no different than the previous victim, Francesca's body was boiled and remade into homemade bars of soap and tea cakes, which Leonardo happily shared with the neighbors, keeping up her positive reputation and distracting the community from the